The Auburn Tigers escape Columbia. Let's talk about it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Welcome in. Up-tempo gang, Auburn family. How are we doing tonight? It's a Sunday night. I'm sorry for the delay, but what a game yesterday. We escaped. We escaped. We found a way to win an ugly one. 66-63 on the road. Adversity against us all day long, it felt like. I told Dustin the other night that I was kind of worried about the 1 p.m. tip Eastern time, 12 p.m. Central time. I was a little scared about that on the road, and I think South Carolina did some things that frustrated Johni Broome, y'all. I do. I think Murray Boyles and Pringle, who has been really, really well known with Johni. Like, he was at Alabama, so he knows what Johni wants to do. He knows what spot he wants to get to. He knows the moves of Johni Broome. He's very familiar with what Johni wants to do. So that is why I was a little nervous about this one. All right, I knew South Carolina couldn't shoot, and that showed Saturday. I mean, Auburn held this team to 23 points in the second half. You had a horrendous first half, but you kept them out of the paint for majority of the second half and made them shoot jumpers. And that's how you won the game, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. I was nervous of how Auburn would handle foul trouble in this one. And Lord, we didn't know that Johni was going to go down, right? We're praying. Like, I still, I don't know how long we're out of the woods with Johni. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. We have a very special guest coming on. We got two Mississippi State guys, and we're going to preview Tuesday night. We're going to talk about Johni Broome. I know they want to talk about Johni. Man, to get out of that one yesterday, we had some guys step up, y'all. We had some guys step up. And I say that we faced adversity because we weren't on our A game. That, in my opinion, that's the worst we've played all year. Hands down, by far, not even close. And you still found a way to win. I made a TikTok yesterday. Said, hey, it just shows the maturity of this team and how really good they are and how good they can be. Because in years past, Auburn, even last year, Auburn loses that game. You saw it against Yale. You lose CBM. And you struggled for the rest of the game. Yesterday, you lost Johni. He only played 24 minutes, y'all. And you lost your best player, and you still found a way to win. And then people want to hit you with, well, South Carolina sucks. South Carolina isn't good. South Carolina, 5 of their 6 losses are to top 25 teams. Yes, did they lose to, North Florida on opening night? Yes, they did. But 5 of their 6 losses are to ranked teams. Did those ranked teams blow them out? Yes. Did Auburn? No. A loss is a loss, though. They do have a ranked win on their resume. They beat number 25 Clemson earlier in the year. So, are they a bad basketball team? Yeah, they're not great in SEC standards. Can they shoot? No. Do they got a couple of guys who can bang in the paint? Yes. Was Johni struggling a little bit yesterday? Yes. Was Auburn fouling a little bit too much yesterday, in my opinion? Yes. I still look at this and say this is a game where a lot of things didn't go your way, and you somehow still found a way to win. And that is what championship teams do. That is what championship teams do. They find a way to win the ugly ones. It's very well known in sports, man. Championship coaches will tell you all the time, you have to find a way to win the ones when you're not on your A game. And I thought Auburn did that. I thought Miles Kelly hit big shot after big shot. I thought Chaney on the defensive end, him swatting that alley-oop away was huge. That was huge. That place, if that alley-oop goes down, that place goes ballistic. All the momentum is with South Carolina. All the momentum is with South Carolina. If that lands home and they flush that, Auburn is in serious trouble. And you made plays down the stretch on both ends of the court. And not only was Johni not on his game and he got hurt, Denver Jones wasn't great offensively yesterday. I think Denver Jones 4 points, 0 for 1 from 3, 2 of 6 from the field. That's not Denver Jones. That's not the Denver Jones that we have seen this season. CBM, another guy that we can point to and say, hey, he didn't have it yesterday. Offensively, he did not have it. CBM, 8 points, 0 for 3 from 3. That is not CBM. He struggled, but that's okay. That just shows the depth of this team. It shows how deep you can turn to your bench and go and say, hey, Miles Kelly, you got the green light, dog. Pull up from wherever you want to. It's all on you. Tahad Pettiford, come off the bench, kid. Miss Devin, I see your comment down there. I'll get to it in just a second. Tahad, let it fly, brother. Crossover, step back, let it go. Left 3, bang. That's a true freshman. And I'll get to my biggest point about Tahad Pettiford towards the end here. But you're so deep that you can lose your star player. You can lose your Wooden Award finalist. And CBM have a bad day. Denver Jones have a bad day offensively. And you still find a way to win games. I don't care if it was against South Carolina. College basketball is the weirdest sport of all. Things get nasty. Things get dirty when you go on the road. I mean, you just be blessed that you win on the road, because it's a very hard thing to do in college basketball. Chaney Johnson, 9 points. Like I told y'all, he stretches the floor when he hits the 3 ball. He hit a huge 3 for the Auburn Tigers. He was 4 of 7 from the field. One thing about Auburn and Chaney that I wanted to bring up on this episode is Auburn, there's a couple of guys on Auburn and Chaney who commit senseless fouls. And I think it's gotten a little better. But if you notice, we win the possession. We play such good defense, and we get the shot clock under 5, and then we will foul 30 feet away from the basket or 25 feet away from the basket. And I'm just sitting here going, hey, what are we doing? Why are we fouling there? Why are we fouling there? There's some fouls where I feel like Chaney is in the right position. There's no need to get caught reaching. And Chaney will reach and he'll get a pointless foul. There's no sense in that foul right there. That's my only gripe. I think it happens a little too much with Auburn. But after everything you overcome, just to grind one out yesterday and get a dub when you know everybody was getting ready to rush that court and Twitter fingers were about to pop off. You know it, and you found a way to find a clutch dub. I call it clutch. People laugh at me. Oh, it's not clutch, Blake. It's South Carolina. No, it's clutch. You're still undefeated in conference play, and you play in the best conference in America. Let's get over here to these comments, and I wanted to check in with you with all of you, and then we'll get back to the final little talking points of the game that I want to make before we get out of here. Daniel says the Georgia game will be tough. Absolutely. Great basketball team. They have an elite environment over there. I think what Mike White's trying to do over there, coming from Florida, going to Georgia, and really creating an atmosphere over there. He's also recruiting really well. So let's see, Miss Devon, we got you here. Okay, it will not let me. There it goes. War Eagle praying Janai is okay. These kinds of games are going to happen, and we still won. Encouraging. Absolutely, Miss Devon. And make sure to join us tomorrow night. We're going to be talking a whole lot more about Janai. We're doing the episode tomorrow night because we play Tuesday night, and it's, a big game. So we didn't want to have an episode in basketball going on at the same time. So we're going to go tomorrow night. We're going to have some Mississippi State Bulldogs join us. I did feel like I was going to throw up, though. Yeah. I was nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I was nervous because I kind of felt like dropping that game would really hurt your chances to win the conference. And I want that regular season crown, but dropping the South Carolina game would really, really hurt your chances to get to that 14-win mark, 15-win mark, and have an opportunity to win the regular season title. Donnie Miller says, finally, some basketball content. Blake is about as real as it gets. War damn Eagle. Donnie, look, man, I appreciate you being here. The last couple episodes have been basketball related. We do throw a football one in there. And like I said, I appreciate you being here. But we're going to pump this basketball stuff out. And, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. I know, we always talk about that basketball. We preach about being a basketball school, but it's just not as popular as Auburn football. So appreciate the comment, man. Mike says basketball is about matchups, and they matched up well inside on top of they shot better than they have been. Plus, we had an off night offensively. Great point, Mike. That brings me to my point about Pringle was very familiar with Janai. And I think people are looking past that is when you have a guy that is matched up to Janai previously and he knows Janai. That's a big deal to me. And others are going to bypass that, and they're going to give you the lazy takes. But I'm here to give you what I think is right. And Pringle wasn't backing down from Janai. He knew his weaknesses. And I feel like it went over to the Murray Bulls kid. I mean, they attacked Janai right out the gate. From the opening tip, they went right at Janai. They were going at Auburn's bigs, trying to create foul trouble, y'all. Mike's right. This was a matchup where Auburn, if they got in foul trouble, you had to shoot. You had to shoot it. Thank goodness we turned up in the second half. Did not give up a point in the last 5 minutes. EPW, I tell you, the defense was unreal. And that is what's going to win Auburn a lot of games. And that is why I think they can make a run in March Madness. I hate to bring this point up, but do y'all remember in the Final Four against Virginia, we fell down by 10? And the defense that was played down the stretch to get us back into that game was unreal. We went on a massive run at the end of that game, if any of you remember that. I know it was painful, but Auburn hit a stretch run where they played great defense. Bryce made a big shot. Like there was great offense and great defense played to get back into that game. This team, I'm not saying South Carolina's Virginia, but this team reminds me of that, where they can absolutely shut you down. And they can also hit that dagger three, that Miles Kelly go-ahead three, that Tahad Pettiford three to keep you in the game. Great stuff from the Auburn Tigers. I also, I think it was Ferguson that made the point of Bruce looked over at Mike the last three possessions and asked Burgermeister, he said, hey, What are we doing here? You call it. You call it. So Bruce isn't. Everybody's like, oh, Bruce just lets his guys run with freedom. He does. He does. But he also has a Pat Mahomes over here on the bench saying, hey, Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes over here on the bench drawing it up, saying, hey, this is what we're going to right here in the clutch. I think it's amazing that BP can rely on assistance. He can turn to his son and say, hey, what do you got right here? What is best for us right here? That is a coach letting coaches do their thing and help him. Maybe our football coach needs to do the same. I don't know. That's a story for a different day. Get over here to a little bit more of these comments. Fisher says, facts, brother. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate all your support. Pettiford coming in clutch with those free throws. Woo, Miss Devin, we're going to talk about it. All this winning is hyping me up for a first-round loss in the tournament. Daniel, please don't say that. Please don't say that, man. We're Damn Eagle fam. Let's go up tempo. Auburn Dad, we appreciate you, man. We're always praying for you and your family. You have been a mainstay at this podcast. There's a reason all of Broome's shots were falling away, and it's because Pringle knew exactly what he was going to do. You nailed it. It's a fact, man. I said it on the live broadcast yesterday in the middle of the game. I said, Johni's shots, everything is a turnaround. He'd shimmy, try to go left, little hook. Pringle was there. He'd try to go turn around, fade, little jab step, fade away to the right. Pringle was there, hand in the face. That is Pringle not only knowing Johni, but it's also watching film on Johni. And Pringle, everybody can call him trash. All the Alabama people can say, oh, Pringle's trash. He might not have lived up to their standards, but the kid did his homework. The kid did his homework on Johni. They both did. And they were prepared to make Johni's life miserable yesterday. And I thought they did a great job. What's up, Brad? Glad you could join us, man. Glad you could join. Kid has ice in his veins, played his best against adversity. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. That's a fact, Brad. I just, it's like the NBA. It's like the NBA. Guys know, they study each other. They know what they want to do. They know, hey, does this guy like mid-range? Like, where is this guy? Can this guy go right? Is he better going left? They study each other. It's like Jaylen Brown. Everybody knows he can only dribble with one hand. All right. But in last year's finals, Dallas couldn't stop him. You know why? Because I don't think Dallas plays great defense and they didn't do their homework. I think they were just happy to get there. Well, there's matchups that you got to do your homework on. Some people do it. Some people don't. Maybe Pringle should do his homework on making free throws. Hey, that brings me to my next point, y'all. Shout out to the Auburn fans. Shout out to the Auburn fans, each and every one of you who travel and show up on the road and go into opposing environments and just absolutely set a tone. You go into the opposing house and you say, we're taking this place over. And a guy gets up in a 1-point game and he goes to sink 2 free throws to put them up 1 and possibly win the game and pull off the upset against the number 2 team in the country. And he addresses the media and says, I'm sorry I didn't make those free throws. It was a hostile environment because they had more fans in our building. And it was too loud, I couldn't think. That's incredible. That's incredible. It's crazy to me that, first off, you say that, but for Auburn fans to make the trip and take over that place is incredible. It just speaks volumes to the program. It speaks volumes to BP and these players and the fans believing in what these guys can do. And they got hostile while Pringle was shooting those free throws. and he missed them. I also think there was some cheesy foul calls, but, it happens. I watched the game last night, Alabama and Texas A&M, watched about the last 7 minutes of it. It felt like it took 3 hours to finish 7 minutes of basketball, and both teams combined almost shot 100 free throws. And we got to have a serious sit-down talk with SEC officiating. I think we got to do something about it. I mean, some of the fouls yesterday in the South Carolina game were just – I don't get it. I really don't get it. But that's for another day, y'all. I'll let that one go. Look, South Carolina, they had a guy that hadn't shot it great all year. He hit a couple threes. They shot 25% from three. If you were in the live stream yesterday, I was screaming, don't let them drive. Make them shoot jumpers. Move your feet. Cut the ball off. Make them kick and shoot jumpers. And Auburn did that in the second half. And that is why you only gave up 23 points and you ended up winning the game, is because they can't shoot. They can't shoot. That's not their game. Now, Auburn going 6 of 12 from the free throw line is absolutely horrendous. That's pitiful. You go 50% from the free throw line, you deserve to lose, honestly. You got waxed on the glass. That's another thing we got to bring up. I know Johni wasn't in there for majority of the game. I get it, but we were still getting beat on the glass with him in there. We got to clean it up. We have to rebound collectively as a team. Our guards even have to rebound better. We're giving up way too many second and third chance opportunities, and that actually cost us a couple times against South Carolina yesterday. There was a chance where they got 4 opportunities and finally hit a 3 off of it. So one of my other points is AU only had 6 turnovers. Another reason why I ultimately think you made the comeback and you ended up winning this game is because you didn't turn the ball over. Your guards have been really good with controlling the basketball, making the right pass. I think CBM needs to tone down the little putting the mustard on the hot dog every now and then with the backwards passes and, the behind the backs and all that. Like tone that down, man. Tone it down, especially in crucial parts of the game. We just need for you to make the easy pass, the right pass. It doesn't have to be acrobatic. You ain't got to showboat it, even though we love you for doing it sometimes. But you ain't got to do all that. All right. But I do think Auburn not turning the basketball over was a huge factor in coming back in this one and ultimately winning this game. Now, I kind of wanted to close out on this. I've been screaming about Tahad Pettiford. If Auburn wants to win a national championship, y'all, this thing, it's a team journey. It is a collective group. But in March, Auburn will have to have elite point guard play. And when I say elite, you can't have Denver Jones only giving you 4 points. Denver's got to be better. I don't think that can happen again the rest of the way. Denver's got to be better. He had an off night. But Tahad Pettiford and what he did at the end of the first half, you were close to going down double digits. If Auburn goes down double digits in that game yesterday, I don't know if they come out of half and survive. But you were close to going down double digits. You were down, I think, 8. And Tahad comes in right before half, does his thing, gets you a bucket, bang. You go in 6. You're only down 6. You went in with momentum. That's the biggest thing for me. Tahad is a creator. Tahad is a great ball handler. Court vision, IQ is off the charts. An elite passer. And he's a shot maker. He can create. For him to only be 6 foot, 6'1", I think the roster says. I don't think he's quite 6'1", but 6 foot, and he can get to his shot, and he creates his own shot. That little crossover, step back, that elite, man. It is elite, and it's pure left-handed shot maker. He's a sniper. But what he did at the end of the second half, inserting him, you're down. He had a big 3. And then for him to get the basketball and get fouled with 4 seconds left. You're up 1, and you need 2 free throws to secure not getting beat at the horn on some fluke, wild, crazy shot. And what has hampered us the most in past years is free throws. It's the reason why we didn't win a national championship in 2019. Other factors, I know, the double dribble and Chuma tearing his ACL. But you still had the opportunity. Jared Harper went to the line and had a chance to ice it, and he missed a free throw. So I was nervous, and I was like, man, this is going to tell me a lot with Tahad. This is going to tell me, does he have the ice in his veins to handle the moment? And boy, he sure does. Tahad Pettiford sank both, nothing but nylon on both. And I said, man, that feels good. That feels good to have a game on the line and a true freshman come in after I watched senior, junior, sophomore last year in the NCAA tournament against Yale stand there and absolutely choke at the free throw line after they were given multiple chances against Yale to win a basketball game. And Tahad Pettiford answered, and he answered the call every single time. Ice in his veins. That's what stuck out to me the most yesterday. It was a terrible game. You struggled. You faced adversity. But your true freshman point guard led you. Your transfer to guard, Miles Kelly, led you. Think about that. We know what happened to Johni, and we hope he gets well soon. We don't want him to be out 3 to 4 weeks. But I would rather have him in March than him come back Saturday and it be worse than what we thought, and he re-injure it and it linger into March. But that's what I got out of it. I got out of it that you have a dog at point guard. You have an absolute dog who can do whatever he wants. And he's that good, man. He's that good. A shout out to not only I left out Dylan Cardwell fouling out at the end. You not even having him on the court. I mean, I know there was very little time left, but still, the fact that we lose JB and our team rebounding got better is wild. He averages like 11 a game. I think we're trying to get out on the break a little earlier and run instead of securing the board. Shake my head. That could be it. That could be it. I also kind of felt like I saw a rebound yesterday where Chaney got beat to the spot and his box out, I'm going to say it was kind of lazy in my opinion. And he got beat to the spot, and it's just like he gave up on still trying to work his man and get around his man and move his man out of the paint. And it was just kind of like, I got beat. Dang it. Also notice long shots, majority of the time, come with long rebounds. And Auburn is, I think like you said, I think maybe they might be trying to, hey, it's a long rebound. We're going to grab it. Let's get out in transition. Let's run. And that's not the case. And you get beat. And you end up giving up second, third, fourth chance opportunities. We got to clean it up because when you play the likes of Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, we can't get beat to death on the glass the way we did yesterday. It's got to be better. But you come out with a win. You can't do too much complaining, right? You can't do I know Auburn fans were, oh my God, we almost lost to South Carolina. I had Larry on my TikTok. He said, Blake, I know I don't even know if Larry's an Auburn fan, but he said, Blake, we normally agree on things, but that's a terrible South Carolina team. I said, who cares, man? We won. Stop. Don't make it something it's not. We won. You know, when the resume in March, when they pull up the resumes, there's going to be a win next to South Carolina. Not a loss. It's not going to be put in the bad loss column. It's going to be put in the win column. I don't care if we would have won off of a buzzer beater 3 and everybody would, oh my God, we should have beat them by 20. I think that's kind of started creeping in a little bit, is that we should beat everybody by 20. We should beat everybody by 20. I think that has kind of started to creep in a little bit because, boy, Texas gave Tennessee all they could handle the other night. Seems like a tough environment to go into and play. And all these Auburn fans are like, oh, man, we should have beat Texas by 20. We blew a lead. Well, Tennessee blew a lead. Tennessee blew a lead to Texas. You win. That's the only thing we care about, baby. You just win. Find a way, especially when you travel. You just find a way. Find a way. And we did. So, look, we're still undefeated in conference play. The only blemish is to Duke. We'll talk a little bit more about Johni tomorrow night. We'll talk Mississippi State tomorrow night. This is a massive game Tuesday. Mike, I know how you feel about it. This is a big-time matchup. And then you got a big-time matchup Saturday. So there's a lot on the plate. But tomorrow, I will end on this. Tomorrow, when that AP poll comes out, you take this moment and you soak it in. You soak it in, because I never thought in my lifetime Auburn would be consistently this good in basketball. Never thought in my life Auburn would have a Jabari Smith come in, take us to a number 1 ranking, be a top 3 lottery pick, and then a couple years later, we're right back to number 1. I never thought in my wildest dreams that we would have a Johni Broome come into this program and do what he's done. Soak this moment in around lunch tomorrow when this poll comes out. Because me personally, I want the number 1 seed in March. But this means something to me. Like Bruce said, it's history for Auburn to be number 1. It's history. So soak it in, man. Take it all in. Celebrate your basketball team tomorrow when these rankings come out. It means a lot to this program. It means a lot to them kids. It damn sure means a lot to that coaching staff. Thank them for all their hard work. And I thank y'all for joining me tonight. I'm sorry for the sporadic episode. I just had to put this one together real quick. There were some things I had to get off my chest. I know I spent 2.5 hours with you yesterday in the live stream, but thank y'all for hopping in here on the live chat. We appreciate it. Remember, tomorrow night at 7, an emergency episode because of Tuesday night. We hoop. So tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central, catch us. Special guests, Mississippi State, talking Johni, and all the hoops, man. Appreciate y'all. War Damn Eagle. Love y'all. Catch y'all tomorrow night. I'm out.